right, so we're bitch moaning and complaining. Before we get to that, you'll notice that I've got my trusty Buc-ees cup. Now, Shayna is from Texas, which is where Buc-ees originates, and she just told me that she has never been to a Buc-ees, and I told her, well, Shayna, you need to go, because I tell you what, Buc-ees, that's right, Buc-ees has the absolute cleanest shitters throughout the entire United States. It is a joy. It is an absolute joy to walk into a Buc-ees bathroom, drop trowel, and squeeze out a couple of chunky turds. Jesus. I'm just saying, it's that pleasurable. Why, hell, the Virgin Mary, her blessed self, would be proud to eat off of those floors. Just saying. Just throw that out there. Now, what we're actually bitch moaning complaining about today, it turns out, Denali National Park. No, it is not sponsored by GMC or Chevrolet. Turns out that it was named Denali National Park long before those expensive-ass SUVs and trucks. It also turns out that the Biden administration, and you'll love this, now this is a United States national park, and they have forbidden workers there to display or fly the American flag, saying, and I quote, that it distracts from the park experience. My response is, what the actual fuck? It's a U.S. national park. Now look. First of all, let's be honest. Probably nobody actually complained about that. Probably we've got some numbnuts at the park. You know what? I don't like America. I don't want to make America great again. Durka. I think I'm going to complain. So he's complained. It's went right up the fucking ladder until finally somebody, probably not Biden, because let's be honest, he's not cognizant enough to make any decision on anything. He probably has to be led to the bathroom and reminded 4 or 5 times to wash his hands. Nope. Somebody complained about it. So it came down from on high that we cannot display American flags in United States national parks. I don't like that. I don't like that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a little nationalistic. There's nothing wrong with being proud of your country. And let's be fair now, there's a lot of things in the United States that we should not be proud of. One of which, well, it's 2 of which, if you consider both candidates, is that we have 350 plus million Americans, and Donald Trump and Joe Biden are the cream of the crop. They are the best we can fucking do, and let me tell you, we are fucking doomed. That is not what I really wanted to complain about. What I really wanted to complain about, Trump. No, I usually don't complain about him that much because I am not in Biden's camp, but we're going to complain today. Turns out he was at a libertarian hoodoo. That's right, a little get-together where all the libertarians got together and I guess they sang Kumbaya and roasted marshmallows or whatever the fuck they were doing. Well, Trump showed up there, and I guess they did not like that because they booed the ever-loving shit right out of him. But while he's there, now let's be honest about Trump. Trump is very transactional. Trump, when he's in a crowd, he tends to say what he thinks that crowd wants to hear. So he starts going through some of what he thinks are the libertarian talking points. And he gets that, I guess, from watching Fox News. And if he ever watches CNN or whatever, or TikTok or wherever the fuck he gets his news. So he comes out and he says, I am going to protect cryptocurrency. Okay, so I can get behind that because I've recently started making some money on crypto. And then he says, I am going to release or commute the sentence of Ross Ulbricht. Huh. Well, I can't get behind that. Now, for those who may not know, Ross Ulbricht was motivated by ideology. He was a criminal, and he thought that he could change the world by becoming the world's largest drug dealer. And that's exactly what he did. He opened up this thing called Silk Road. Now, that's not why so many people kind of support this guy. Why they support this guy is that Ross Ulbricht gave Bitcoin its first real mass use case, because Silk Road, a dark web marketplace, the only thing it accepted for payment was Bitcoin. And that is exactly what gave Bitcoin enough traction that today you see Bitcoin being sold for, I think, $69,000 a pop. That's Ross Ulbricht. Now, Ross was ultimately sentenced to 2 life sentences plus 40 years. Now, why was he sentenced to that? Well, other than being the largest drug trafficker on the planet, a la El Chapo, he also engaged in murder for hire schemes. He tried to have 6 people murdered, but he was a bit of a dumbass. So this guy contacted Ross and he's like, I know who you are and I'm going to turn everybody in unless I'm paid. Well, Ross Ulbricht, dipshit that he was, he contacts who he thinks is a hitman on the dark web. Let me tell you something. You don't have hitmen on the dark web. You don't. That shit don't work. Anytime you think you're going to be talking to a hitman on the dark web, you're talking to law enforcement. And they're sitting there going, boy, we got us a fucking idiot on the line today. And they're going to give you time. So Ross Ulbricht reaches out to a cop who he thinks is a hitman. He says, I want this guy killed. What's his fucking name? Well, his name is this. I could do that because I'm a hitman. I'm not a cop. Cop loads up in his cop car, drives down to the supposed victim and says, hey, don't know if you know this or not, but Ross Ulbricht is going to pay me $500,000 to kill your fucking ass. But you're a cop. I know I'm a cop, but I'm fucking tempted. What happens is they stage a murder. I guess they pour ketchup on the guy. They take a few pictures. They send to Ross Ulbricht, and Ross Ulbricht is just as happy as a queer in a dick tree. You like how I threw that one in? That's what I did. Needless to say, I do not support Ross Ulbricht getting released immediately. I don't think that he deserves. Well, he went through appeals court. He now serving 1 life sentence plus 40 years. I don't think he deserves that amount of time, but I do think he should serve a solid 20 years. So I said that on my fucking Twitter because I got access to all the Twitters, all the Googles. I said that on my fucking Twitter. Well, you would have thought that I'd walked right back into that same church that I shat on the altar on. And once again, I took another shit right on top of the altar. They went fucking ballistic. I had the cult of crypto. I had the libertarian numbnuts. I had all these people coming out of the fucking woodwork saying, well, Ross never did anything. He just built a website, man. That's all he did. The only thing he did is build a website. Like, yeah, a website for trafficking fucking drugs. Well, but that was your choice. He didn't tell him to traffic drugs. Dude, do you know who the fuck you are talking to? I built the precursor to that bullshit. I know what the son of a bitch did. And let me tell you in no uncertain fucking terms, he knew what he was doing. He was fine with what he was doing. And he tried to have 6 people murdered. But he didn't really, that was a scam. The cops set him up. He didn't really have anyone murdered. So that doesn't fucking matter. It still fucking counts. Not only that, but at least 4 people died from overdoses because they bought drugs from Silk Road. Now, here's the thing, guys. You can say whatever you want to say. Think of El Chapo, all right? If you're trying to say that Ross Ulbricht didn't do anything wrong, he just built a platform, and on that platform, people engaged in buying and selling drugs, and that's not his fault, and he never tried to have anyone murdered, and he never murdered anyone personally, you can say the exact same goddamn thing about El Chapo. The exact same thing. He built a platform, this being a drug cartel, he built a platform that facilitated the trafficking of drugs. Did he actually stand on the corner and sell any drugs? No, he did not. He ordered people murdered. Did he actually murder anybody? Well, in his case, he did. But other than that, there are several similarities between Ross Ulbricht and El Chapo. I guess the glaring difference between the two is that El Chapo will kill your fucking ass. He means what he's doing. He's not a fucking idiot. Ross Ulbricht, He's a fucking idiot, guys. And I don't think he needs to serve that amount of time, but he needs to serve a solid 20. And we're talking about a guy who absolutely shows no contrition whatsoever for any of the crimes that he has committed. I know that the cult of crypto is out there and they support this guy. I know a lot of libertarians support this guy, but I urge you to take a step back and look at things objectively. All right. I had several comments. I had one guy that was arguing that all drugs should be legal. And my response was, okay, so that's PCP, that's methamphetamine. And he's like, absolutely make everything legal. And I was like, so since you're for that type of access, at what age should people be allowed to access those drugs? Well, he started hum-hawing around because he was trying to adopt the libertarian point of view. Well, it should be free to accessible to anyone. I was like, so you're fine with a goddamn 10-year-old taking meth? Well, I don't know about that. Oh, so you do believe that there needs to be some limitations on some of these drugs? Well, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, blah, 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 blah.